It is recording, but that's an AI assistant, so it's now recording by me as well. So off you go, Uri. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. And yeah, it's great to be here and be part of this community that I joined, although I haven't engaged as much as I would have liked. I've been following some emails and joining just some sessions. I'm based in Italy. I'm originally from the Galilee, Israel, Palestine, and I've been working with theater and social arts as a facilitator, trainer, consultant, and I'm actually part of a network called Imagine Action. So it's the kind of imagine action. I think when I sent to my network, some people say like, is that imagination or imagination? So it's just the C in the middle. Um, yeah, I wanted to celebrate that I received by mail, by snail mail, the publication of Troopin that also was, I think, funded through this project. And my recipe there is in the recipe book for multi-species belonging. So just it was a great way for me to celebrate the year before in these days, and also thankful for this community that helped make that happen. It's nice to see your ideas printed in paper. And so I shared a bit about myself, and I would say that this practice is an emerging practice. My practice is inspired from many sources. I train with theater of the oppressed, Augusto Boal, kind of social theater. I also trained with Dragon Dreaming, which is a kind of a community engagement project, sustainable project approach, and also social presencing theater with Arawana Hayashi and Presencing Institute, and some other things like the work that we connect. But mostly this session today is inspired actually with the social presencing theater work and a little bit the work that reconnects of Joanna Macy. But of course, everything that I add is building up on the thing I've done before, I think with all of us. And I'm in the process of naming it Theater That Reconnects, and that's also the name of the recipe I sent to the recipe book. So, yeah, it's also a process of conceptualizing, but also embodying and letting that emerge. So hopefully today is also another way to letting that emerge. um, and so we'll start with just a check-in, and this I call it embodied check-in. So um, it's a check-in with our own body. So we're kind of checking in with our own body and seeing how our body is feeling right now. So sometimes um, we go on our day and we kind of forget about the thing that is keeping us alive and operational. So you can just kind of feel our own body and feeling how our body is, and are we comfortable? Are we uncomfortable? Is it warm? Is it cold? We don't need to change anything. We're just noticing our own body and our kind of living system body that holds us here together. And we can feel also how our body is hopefully connected with the ground and the earth, and is being supported by the earth as it always has. And we can feel that connection. Just rest on the earth and seeing if our body needs some stretching or some kind of movement. We can let that happen as well. And we can also, through this sensing of the body, we can also feel we are in January 17, 2024. How is this year starting out? Like, what's the energy? And how does the body feel in this new year? And so it is a little bit of sensing, paying attention to the body, and a little bit of kind of opening out to the space and sensing kind of with the intention. So the thing that is coming out from within, what are we filling our life with and would like to fill our life with in the next year, months, this year, kind of feeling the quality that we're inviting or wish to invite. And I'm going to invite us to imagine that there is a door or a gateway in front of us, which is the new year. It represents this new year that is coming. And I'm going to invite us to walk through this gate. And you can use your imagination, but you can actually step up and do it physically if you have the space and the possibility to stand up and walk through this gate. And you can do it with closed eyes or with open eyes. Our eyes are not looking at anything specifically. It is like open gaze. And we imagine this gate where is this year, and it is the year that we really would like to have. It is the year in which we really come into the highest potential, the possibility that that calls us. So this is the gate to that year that we would like to live as people, as groups, as the world. And we find our way to kind of take a step towards this year, this gate. And if it's a door and it needs opening, you can open it. And you have the key, but it's also not closed or not locked. So you open, and then if you need, you take another step until you feel that you crossed the door and you're in this year that you would like to live through, and feeling the quality of how it is to be in this year. And you can also take it as a shape, as a body shape, how it feels like in this place. Mm. And you can sense again with the closed eye or open eyes, who is around you, what's around you in this. If there are other people or nature beings or nature elements are with you in this intention. And from this place, you can slowly turn around and look back from where you came. And you look back to where you were sitting or standing before. And you can also kind of give a message to your older self, just a few seconds ago, starting the year 2024. And if you could give it an advice or a message, what would it be? What would be the advice that you would give yourself? You can say it by heart or you can say it by voice if it's possible. Trust. And when you give this message, you can turn back towards going front way. When you feel you're ready, you can also take a step back to the gate. You're again in the gate, you're in between the future and the present past. And you take another step back to where you were before. And you can sit again. if you're coming late, don't worry. You will catch up. Um, so there was just a little bit of crossing the threshold and feeling this intention for the new year. If you want to write in the chat, what was the word or the message that came to you, if you feel like sharing them, you can share that in the chat. If you're not sure if you want to share, you can just write something else. I'll read back some of this. Keep coming back to what is important. Trust, multi-strengths, just a bit wiser. Be courageous. Collaborative energies whirling together. Just go. Unsure, open, different, unexpected. Joy and the highest. It's nice to be reminded to think like this. To think like this. Believe in yourself and others around you. Bring forth your gifts. Be courageous and gentle towards yourself and others. Trust the path to reveal itself. You're onto something. Trust your intuition. It will be okay. Trust your heart. Breathe. You are loved. Act from this place of safety. Love yourself. Love yourself mindfully. You are held by the universe. Aligning more with my ikigai. So, remember the beauty. Thank you for all who shared, and there's still more. I feel there is a patterns that they can be seen, and that's why I call it also social dreaming. And it's not just each of us dreaming, but we're kind of dreaming together, and our dreams are connected. No matter how kind of neoliberal thought have made us think that we're individuals, and I would say that science and everything else proves us otherwise, in the sense that we are individual, in the sense that we're indivisible parts of a whole, interdependent being, and our dreams are tightly connected. And nothing like a good advertise can tell you how our dreams are widely connected. I'm just happy to. So I want to introduce another little practice, and I will demo it, and then we do it in breakouts. And it has to do with this quality of crossing the threshold, and we call it kind of the future seed, and this image of the future I would like to create. And we'll do it in breakouts in a way that each one will be sharing their image. So I'll invite you to, if you can, use your entire body and be in a full, so people in your room can see you. If you cannot be visible, just write in the chat. If you're doing something else, we'll figure it out. And you're in your image, and you're going to ask other people in your little group. So I'm going to ask Hannah to be a force in my image. So this is my future intention, and I feel where I am right now is this. And so that was the future, and this is the current reality. And I feel there is a force, and Hannah, you can kind of put your hand on my hands here, like imagining that you're putting, yeah, more to the side, yeah. And maybe Stephen, you're standing behind me. You're kind of standing behind me. Sorry, just I see you near me, so this and I'll just do the two forces. You can have more if you have more people in the room. And we're going to move together. So we're going to start a movement together towards this future intention. And it's not the shortest route, it's the longest route. And just see what wants to happen, just sensing from the first sculpture until we find a position together. Hmm. And the final image doesn't have to be exactly the same. And when you arrive to a shape together, we can all each say a word from what we're feeling. So opening up and standing back, I can do it. And also the forces can say a phrase if they feel like.
Being supportive, standing strong. I see you.
Doing my physio for my Achilles.
Okay. And then we let go. And then so that was my transition. And Stephen and Hannah helped me. So then someone else could do that. So now someone else will take their shape. So there is this, so we do the future shape just to remember, and then we do the current where I'm currently in, and then I'm adding the forces. That's adding the forces, and then we're moving together towards the future and saying a sentence. We're also doing some kind of council of being thing, but it will come in later. But just remember that you can bring in the nature as a friend. And we have Stephen that just brings us the example, living example of how nature in a very physical form can come to our statue. And it could also come as an imaginative. So in my journey, the wind was important and there was some kind of nature there. And again, but nature can just come in as a dog and 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 kind of show itself. So bring in also the other than human to support our transition, either imaginary or physical. And so we each take turns doing that. And in the end, if you have some time, you can share how it went. And it's not when in the reflection side, which is like we're mostly trying to bring this kind of really in a phenomenological kind of way, like what happened, kind of what did I feel, what did I see, what did I sense, not trying to put too many interpretation. That means that, or that's the story of, which is great, but that's not necessarily the exercise. So the exercise is really like noticing, kind of, oh, I noticed that that happened, right? Because just bringing it to the language of the body, which is very experiential or oriented to the movement or the senses. Is that, let's say, confusing enough or or clear enough to try? And if you came in late, just do what everybody does when they are in a situation they don't know what everybody's doing. Just watch and watch and then see how you can interact.
Uri, can I just check that I've understood?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me, if I just play back what I've understood.
Yes.
So we're going to be in groups of maybe 3 or 4.
Yes.
And we're each going to take a turn to embody the movement from where we are now to where we would like to be. And the others, whilst we each take our turn, we're the center, they will be supporting us with their own movement in relation to us. And then when our movement is complete, we each say some words that reflect the experience of the movement.
Perfect. And as the people around us, we can really shape them, like tell them what to do. Like I told you to be putting your hands here. How I feel you enforces in my actual. So I kind of position them, sculpt them, and then we move together, sensing until we arrive to a new shape. And from there we say a sentence, and then we switch roles. So,
Is that clear to everybody?
yes.
Yes. Excellent.
How
That
long?
certainly feels clear.
We have I think 20 minutes for everyone. So if you're in a group of 4, that's 5 minutes each maximum. But it could take much less than that. It's and if you have more time in the end, just share about how it was. And if you don't feel like sharing, that's too bad, or doing your shape, but that's okay. So you can also just choose to be just a support. That's your choice. Is that good? And for people who haven't been before, we are working with this kind of intention of the new year. So what's the future I want to create? So that's the image of the future I'm going to. And then the first image that I do is where I am in the beginning. And the transition together is the journey somehow, as an exploring.
Great.
And
So we're ready to rock? I send you off into breakout rooms, and I'll bring you back in about 20 minutes. Yes.
back, and I hope you had a great time. And I know some people were in a group of 4 and some people in groups of 2 with an Otter AI pilot. I tried to take him out of the room, but he just kept coming in back. So I guess that's an experience we have to live through today in the world. How do we? I have just a little journaling questions for us to reflect together, and I wrote it as a very long chat message, and you can either write it on your pen and paper or notepad, or you can also write it in the computer or phone or directly in the chat. You don't have to share everything that you write. So maybe just the last part if you want to. So I'll just read out the questions. They maybe came out a bit squishy. So the first question is, what did you see, notice, feel, sense, do? So it could be just a sentence, you don't need to describe, but something that took your attention, seeing, noticing, either from your own transition or being supporting for others. How did it feel? And what did you sense? What action? So just something short about that. And the secret about journaling is just starting writing without thinking too much. So it's just kind of see what comes out and sort of let the pen or the hand, the keyboard speak. And then after you connect with that seeing, sensing, the second question, where did you sense a shift from the current to the future shape? So moving from the current shape of where I am now and the future shape, where did you sense there was a shift? So something was shifting between the current moment and the shift. So there was a moment where it was already closer to what's happening, going to happen, or the future than what was before. So where was the shift? Where did you sense a shift? So you can just write something. And again, you don't have to write a lot, just as a note to self. And sometimes we even draw it as images. Um, like in my shift, I noticed, yeah, it was like taking the hands forward. That was the shift. So hands were moving forward and was the shift. Then the third question is, did you sense a human or other than human presence or support in the process? If so, who or what? So if there was a presence supporting you, human or other than human, and we just gave the example, it could be a physical presence like the dog that was there, but also an imaginary presence other than human, or human being presence could also be an ancestor or a descendant or some other presence or a friend. So if there was that, who was that or what was that? And then almost final one, if that other than human being or human being that supports me and I feel connected to right now could speak, what message will it have for me slash us slash the world? So it could have a message for me, it could have a message for us, the people in this room, or it could have to be a message kind of the entire world kind of broadcasting. So it's like kind of one and the same. So what will be the message of that? So if it could speak, and you can, and the five is you can either speak it, so we have a little moment to speak, and then you can also make a physical image or sound of that, and you can also share it in writing. I'll share mine speaking. I wrote it down. I'll just give you a moment to complete what you're doing so you not get confused. So just a minute to get to that message. And we are 30 and so people, so maybe not everybody could speak. So you can also write it down if you feel like sharing. And thank you from Autopilot for providing us a summary uh, for our conversation. Just let me assign if you need a little bit more time or just so I get a sense. Take a minute more. You can complete the sentence. Okay, so I'm going to start our little ending checkout performance. I'm going to be Win, and I'm going to share my message. As humans, you fear, and you fail to understand that change is a constant. The question is never if, but how. I sense the wind calls me to trust my heart and hearts of those closer to me. That's my reflection. And if you feel like sharing, either in the chat or by speaking, we don't have a lot of time, but if you feel the message or just the sharing wants to be spoken, you can. Yes, Alex.
I just want to say thank you and to my girls, and I want to say that we had a very profound experience. Thank you.
Chat. We can weather all weathers. The message coming through our collective energy was that it's possible. It's ethereal. It's beyond words and airbound. Curious, thank you for this time. It felt the time of COVID, we connected over unknown distances and sense of having things in common. I shifted from a reluctant to participate to a need to participate for and with others. My dog danced with me on the first turn, then came back for an encore in the last session. He brought a sense of joy. If the dog could speak, he would say, well, I tried to please him and do what he wanted. But to be honest, it was a bit strange. I'm going to look out of the window for squirrels now. If you could speak, if I could speak, I would bark like a dog and watch the birds eating from the new bird feeder, which I put up the space where they used to be free. Stay fluid, changing is gradual. Enjoy the changes, the movement. Remember, movements feel good. Remember, the risk can feel better than protection. How to unfurl into risk in ways that feel good. Seaweed forest. Move together, flow together, touch, but don't constrain your brushes with one another. Create a flow that is life-giving. My good fatherly spirit was present and helped me. His message, protect life, be prepared for change, courage, and anticipation. There is still life, new life emerging, bursting through regardless. Look harder and let it grow. Nourish it if you can.
Uri, I see Alex has their hand raised.
Oh, I think she spoke from before. But
Oh, you okay.
good. We have a few more. We are more powerful than we know. There is plenty. The world will provide if we are together in relationship, not while we are divided. Bridge the gaps and find the common ground. So the land that supports us said, I support you. You are not alone. Trust me to carry you. So we are about one minute, and I want to bring it back to Hannah. And thank you so much for your sharing and messages. And it was lovely to be here today.
Thank you, Uri. Let's give Uri a finger wave. Thank you for supporting us. It was absolutely magical. Thank you everyone for joining us. And next month on Valentine's Day, we have one of our imagination practice huddles going to lead us. And it's the huddle that's been looking at death and loss and how we understand death and loss as a process by which we move into spaces of change and how we properly honor things that we need to surrender. So do come 14th of Feb, 3 o'clock. I'm not sure yet if it'll be an hour and a half. I'm just ironing that out with them. But you'll learn how the huddle has worked to deepen this question around death and loss and imagination practice. And I'm sure they'll have a practice to share with us. And as I said at the beginning, if you want to talk to us about how we shape year 2 of the collective imagination practice community, please bung us your email. There's the form again. I've just stuck it in the chat. If you joined later, just to give us your email, because we'd love to talk to anyone who, you know, I know many of you have been coming regularly, and I'd love to hear what you feel you need for the next year. So yeah, thank you everyone, and hopefully see you next week and next month, and keep your eye on the newsletters. Take care.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you very much.
Much.
Bye all.
Bye.